Greetings, fellow classmates and Professor Livingston. Welcome to BFree's BSG review. What we wanted to do was not only provide a retrospective of the game and our performance itself, but also have a little bit of fun while staying on topic. And by fun, I mean we're going to put on some nice tunes for you guys to enjoy while I speak. Cue tunes! Alright. While I'm the only one speaking here, Sean did provide this team with the research we needed to make the right decisions, as well as dictate the ideas on how to approach these projects throughout each week. Okay, so without further ado, here's what happened. BSG. It's such a splendid sample of the simulated business environment at the top level. Not only did we learn about the various processes from branded production to the finance and cash flow and how all that stuff worked, but we also had to compete against each other. Now, this was a standoff, let me tell you guys. Any one of us could have swept the other teams away at any point. Somehow, we made it on top and kept the lead with Team C and D staying right on our tail for a good portion in the middle area. It was really intense, let me tell you. Some of those early nights when we were trying to go with strategy A with A or B, which one would be better to work with, I'm just glad we, all the stress didn't get to us and we just stuck with one strategy. Okay, but, in the end, here we are. Humble in victory or defeat, no matter what happens. We went in as rivals, but the most important thing is we came out as classmates again. Okay, so let's go into a little bit more what we did. Okay, so the first 25% of BSG, we were just trying to figure out what was going on. We were trying to calibrate those options and learn what changed what. Without going into too many specifics, we managed to figure out the most important ways to improve our scoring measures. We had to take a hit early on so we could roll out this specific strategy and make it work. You guys remembered when Soulmates were on top. We were hoping in the back of our heads at that time early on that, this would pay off, and it did. And I'm, really happy that it did. Once we got a foothold on the decision entries, we held that forward up to 75% of the way with the same options and hardly ever changing our methodology. Now into the juicy bits. What did we actually do? But before we even begin to talk about that, we need to tell you, before we made even any changes at all, we took a look at the overall generalities of the game. What were all the stuff that we couldn't change? How was that going to change year by year? So what we found out about that was that Latin America was extremely cheap to ship to North America, for the most part, while North America's production facilities were really, really expensive to maintain. Okay, so what we did with that, to answer to that, we just disassembled NA's facilities by 1,000 to 2,000 every year. North America was going down, and then we were building up Latin America and Asia Pacific. We decided to hit those two. We buffed Asia and LA, Latin America, to its max and let them produce all of the shoes for the most part, while leaving NA down to 3,000. At some point, it was, after the depreciation period, it was really good for us because we were planning on bringing, North America down anyway. So that really worked out for us on that level. So in the beginning within the first 3 years, we made the money to pay off that loan that we had before the game even started. And then we repurchased those stocks, whatever stocks that we had, at around year 4 to 5, to give us the money boost to pay for the new production facilities. Did I say buy? I meant sell stocks, so we could make that money. I'm sorry, and we only did that one time. After that, we actually just kept rebuying our stocks to bring the ROE and all those juicy numbers down in the bottom left to just skyrocket up. When you have a lot of ending cash, after we're done making all the decisions for the distributing and the buying, improving the quality of our shoes, we had like 150 to 200,000 left over from the past 5 or 6 years, and we're just like, okay, what do we do with this money? Put it all and rebuy our stocks, and that's how we got such a good, stock repurchase. That was like the last part of our, our strategy towards the end, to make sure that we had that really going really good for us. Okay, so what we always did was we started with the production facilities page and onto branded production, making sure that that's okay. If we made enough shoes in the market for wholesale and internet, then we would move on to one of the most important deciding factors, especially for our shipping strategy, for decision making in this game, and that's distribution and warehouse. We made sure to pay close attention to the projected inventory surplus to make sure none of the destinations were in the minus or in the plus. We wanted to get it as close to zero as possible. Okay, and that made sure to maximize the amount of profits, and everything was looking good at that point. After this, we checked out the internet marketing and wholesale marketing and decided that the most important thing we could do here is grab market share. So we slowly pumped up advertising costs by 1,000 to 2,000 every year to make sure that our market share kept going up. In the beginning, it was an even 25% across 4 companies. You know, the 4 companies? Yeah, all 4 of us? Yeah. Eventually, we neared 45% market share towards the end. We started at 25, split evenly from 4, and then we ended up with 45% of the market share. In Latin America and Asia Pacific, I think in Europe and North America, we were going down. And Europe, we had like 30% towards the end. We weren't focusing on them for the most part until the later years when we just dominated that right side of the market. Okay, so what that meant though, with this market share, was that our shoes were getting to the customers first before anybody else. And it wasn't too difficult on our money throughout the whole time, for the most part, to keep the SQ just above minimum, and a little bit more if we really wanted to improve on the quality. And we would also drive those warehouse costs as low as they could go every single time. And what helped us with that was that we would have to increase retailer support to push those warehouse costs even further down. Low warehouse costs as low as they could go by increasing retailer support. So the last part of this puzzle is the celebrity endorsements and private label operations. Since we were attacking a specific set of countries, we made sure to grab Asia and Latin America's top celebrities as much as possible. Since we started overproducing shoes, we said that we should go into private label sector and give them 50% market share on all 4 destinations, at least on the projection. We let AP and LA to craft all those shoes for export on those fronts as well, because we were overproducing like mad, and they were already good on their distribution. We were able to bring down the branded production a little bit so that we can give to the private label sector and hit that area as well. So that's basically it, really. To sum it up, what we did was, number 1, we went as large as possible on LA and AP. Number 2, obtain maximum allowable market share on all fronts as much as possible, but mostly on LA and AP. Number 3, reduce debt and then rebuy the stocks. Number 4, grab celebrities that are relevant. And number 5, not worry too much about those externalities that much, such as the compensation and training and other options that didn't matter too much to our objectives. But as we started doing really good, I bumped up their minimum wage. I said, hey, you guys can make a little bit more, You really helped us out a lot. You guys deserve it. And that's really basically it. Thank you guys so much for this experience. I hope you all learned as much as we did. I really appreciate it. Take care. And yeah. I'm right here anyway. This is weird.